All right, this is Mark Adams. I'm here with my tag team partner, Coach Johnny Cofield, and this is what we like to call the extra point. We're going to go ahead and get into the rewind scores from around the area from last week. Let's go ahead and get it started. Coach, obviously the game of the week that I would say lived up to the most hype was obviously Rickers and Gabi.
Of course.
Cougars and Raiders hooking up on Thursday night, and man, it came down to the last drive. Rickers quarterbacks and throws a game-winning touchdown. It's weird because when you watch the game, it's like he was really keeping Gabi's defense off balance with being able to use his legs, but it was his arm that won the game. Rickers trailed for the most of the second half, and then at the very end, late game heroics, he was able to find the open man in the end zone. And man, that just adds to more of the rivalry between these two schools. Each year, it really does seem we have more memory of games that have come down to the wire than I can remember blowouts or convincing victories. So, Coach, as a Rickers alum, I need you to weigh in.
And you're a Gabi alum, though. I want everybody to understand that. We didn't have any special incentives for the game, but it was one enjoyable game.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it from beginning to end. Gabi, they have a great team. Rickers came in. They have a great team. Both of these teams are playing pretty well. And it's only right that it come down to the wire. And with that last play, I thought that took Coach Lewis a lot of guts. Most people would have just kicked the field goal because he has a very good kicker. And he decided to go for the win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take a chance, Mark. If he don't make it, everybody talking about him, saying he should have tried to tie the game, like they do. And then when he make it, he's genius. I think either way, I wouldn't have had any problem with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Quentin Lewis had a chance to talk with him, and he was very excited about the win. Let's move on from around the area. Florida High dominated FAMU High 40-0. And really, man, Florida High jumped out 2 quick touchdowns to start the game, and that was really all she wrote from there. Trey Donaldson, Florida High QB, 11 of 20 passing, 218 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the air, and then 4 carries for 96 yards with his legs and another touchdown. Second shutout win for the Seminoles this season, and they're on the road.
Yeah, it was a very impressive win because FAMU High been playing very well. Defense is not really giving up much. And for them to go in there and put 40 points on the board, I was shocked. I thought it would be a close game, but Florida High may be the best team in the area.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely showed it last week, and they've got a huge contest coming up with the team that we were just talking about against Rickers. So we'll have to check that out later on in the week. That's going to be a big one. Meanwhile, Madison County goes down to Auburndale and handles the Bloodhounds pretty convincingly, 22-6. Cowboys bringing back home the win. Robert Ayers led all rushes with 18 carries and 91 yards. Keyshawn Mitchell, we've heard that name before, one of our defensive standouts from earlier this season. 11 tackles, 6 solo, and 5 assists. So Madison County really meandering their way through the season. They still are the team to beat. You are the champion until somebody has to come take that crown off your head.
Yeah, I think the one thing about Madison, they don't shy away from anybody. They play some of the best competition. To be a 1A school, they go around. They don't care. They don't shy away from anybody. They'll drive. They'll ride. And if you get them, if they get you in that play in Boo Hill, man, it's on. And so another impressive win for Coach Cole and his young men. And I think it looked like they might be in position to get another championship at 1A.
Yeah, I would definitely say the landscape looks favorable. Of course, nothing is guaranteed. That's why we play the game. But the road looks a little straighter for Madison County as opposed to a lot of other teams. Vernon was putting together a very good, impressive resume so far. But I haven't seen anybody else on the 1A landscape. Let's move around the area. Swanee hooking up with Wakulla down in Live Oak, and the Bulldogs shut out the Wakulla War Eagles. War Eagles were previously undefeated, and man, what a huge win for Kyler Hall and company.
That was a surprise, Mark. I thought the game would be back and forth. For Swanee to shut out Wakulla is something special. Their defense, they must have a great defense. We hadn't got a chance to get around and see them and makes me want to go watch a game maybe this weekend or next weekend before the playoffs. But the shutout while color was very, very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say one of the biggest things that I saw, I saw a couple of clips on Huddle, and man, defense was just getting after it, flying to the football. And we had a chance to talk to Coach Hall, and he was really proud of the way his team played and how they responded. So great, impressive win for them. Meanwhile, back in the capital city, Lincoln 33, Leon 7. Anytime Lincoln and Leon get together, that's always a fan favorite, but Lincoln has dominated the series as of late, and this was another impressive win, and number 2 for Coach Daniels. We had a chance to talk with BJ over the weekend, and he was very, very excited about the win, loved the way his team played. When you take a look at it, really just Perry Fisher just looked real comfortable in the pocket, was able to move the ball up and down the field, was finding his receivers, and just kind of picked apart the Leon defense.
Well, Mark, I think one of the most crucial moments in the game was when Leon was on their own 29-yard line and decided to go for it on 4th down in a yard. And seemed to me from then on, Lincoln kind of took the game over. Lincoln had a short field. They drove them, got a touchdown, and it seemed like the Lions didn't have anything to fight back with. And Leon Lincoln took over the game after that point. It was really kind of tough sledding for the Lions after that point.
Yeah, when you take a look at how Lincoln has come together, they had a disappointing loss to open up the season, but they've looked more like Lincoln Trojan football that we're used to seeing of late, and we'll have to see, because I think they hook up with a couple of other crosstown rivalries again later on in the season. So we're a couple of weeks out from the playoffs, and these last 2 games are going to be really telling. Now Childs heading over to Eagle Field over on the north side of town. Childs able to handle the NFC Eagles 21-13. Big win for Childs. I believe that was their first on the season.
Yeah, and that game was very close. As NFC started off with they scored first, and Childs began and tied the game up, and then it really was all Childs after the second and third quarter.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at the way the Timberwolves were able to put together a complete win, it was definitely had a chance to kind of watch a couple of clips on Huddle. They look pretty good. Offensive line looked good too. Meanwhile, going around the area, Osceola taking on Fullerton Academy, and a big win for the Osceola Warriors, 40-20 over Fullerton. And really just looking at some of the game recap, Fullerton got off to an early lead, but after that, it was all Osceola all the time. Brady Browning with the 50-yard rushing TD. And then you had another Brady Browning 20-yard rushing TD. And really, Brady Browning was just all over the field. He had another, I think he had 3 or 4 rushing touchdowns. And for Osceola, they just turned on the gas and did not let up. A big win for the Warriors.
Yeah, Osceola's been playing steady football. Maybe he had a few bumps. Coach Roberts does a great job with his kids. You see they're consistently winning, playing every week. And hey, they're trying to get ready for the playoffs also.
Yeah, absolutely. When you take a look at everything and how it's progressed throughout the season, it's anybody's ball game. Once you get into the playoffs, you knock off a couple of teams, or you pull off an upset win, and you're really able to make some noise, and things can happen. So also looking at other scores from around the area, McClay goes on the road into Lafayette and comes out with a big dominating win. After being shut out for 2 weeks, this was like pent-up aggression for McClay. 38-14 over the Hornets, and the Marauders able to respond in a big way. Definitely know that Coach Lance Raymer is excited about that win. His guys getting back onto the winning ways. And really just on the ground game was so important for McClay. Ryder Popple, 12 carries for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. Really amped up that woke up that McClay offense, and they're back to their winning ways again.
Yeah, they needed that win. They needed a good victory. They played some 2 tough opponents and came out on the short side, couldn't score. But I knew with the offensive genius of Coach Raymer, they would figure something out. And it's a very impressive win to go to Lafayette, go to Mayo, and take a win. That's a tough place to play.
Yeah, Lafayette definitely, quiet as kept, has been one of those places where they have really put together great football down in that area. But for McClay to go in and come back with a resounding victory like that really speaks to just how badly those kids wanted to respond, especially coming off of those two tough losses. So other scores around the area: Monroe 56, Rocky Bayou 19. Really just a what can we say about Monroe other than Mr. Frazier? He has been carving up defenses on the ground. I think this kid is probably, if he's not over 1,000 yards, he's got to be close to it at this point.
Man, every week we get the stats from a lot of teams, and you try not to make. Sometimes you have a guy who just constantly making stats, and every week you look at Monroe, and this guy's on the nominees for Offensive Player of the Week. He is having a great season, and Mark, we had someone over to the game, but I want to go see myself. Monroe really has turned the program around. They're undefeated, and they headed into the playoffs on a big high.
Yeah, absolutely. When you take a look at Damani Frazier and what he's able to do, took the opening first possession, opening drive, 36-yard touchdown run. And that was the beginning of 5 consecutive scoring drives for the Bobcats. And they never looked back. Coach Lecky from Monroe was really, just was really, proud of his kids, but really more so just with the run that they've been able to put together this season. He basically had a quote was just like, we're looking to get better each week. Monroe has never been 6-0. He said, we told our kids to enjoy it this weekend, but we got to get back to work on Monday. So no rest for the winners. But for Monroe to be 6-0 for the first time is just really a testament to that football program. Let's go ahead and round out some of the other scores. Jefferson County falls to Keystone Heights, 41-7, and then Sneeze jumps all over John Paul, 35-12. And Coach, looking at for what we have in the area, this is still a lot of football left to play. A couple of weeks left until the playoffs, but I'm very excited about what I've seen so far.
Now, wouldn't it be nice if somebody got in the playoffs without a win and went all the way to the state championship?
Man, we would have a lot to talk about if that happened, and it could. We've seen stranger things, and in 2020 where we've not known if COVID was going to keep football around or take it away from one week to the next. Especially if you're a senior, any week you get to play football is a blessing. So we hope to be back next week talking about some scores. We want everybody to stay safe, wear your mask. This has been the 4Q Rewind. I'm Mark Adams.
And I'm Johnny Cofield. What's up?